first round, and did the Big Four quarterbacks help or hurt themselves in town? Find out tomorrow.
Sports Center right now, I'm Antonieta Collins. In the light of the scandals that are hovering over college basketball, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver is being proactive and wants to be involved by strengthening the relationship between elite high school basketball players and the league, with the hopes of providing an alternate path to the NBA. Our senior basketball writer Brian Windhorst explains.
It's not just going to be the way it was in early 2000s, where kids could just, if they wanted to, declare for the draft. This is going to be a comprehensive plan that the NBA has been working on for months, and they're going to get involved with elite teenagers. And I don't just mean 18-year-olds. They want to be able to have influence on 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds, so that they can work with them and prepare them what it's like to play basketball at a high level. That includes coaching, yes, but also fitness, recovery, life skills, off-court concerns and responsibilities. They want to get their hands on the system that they think is broken, not just college basketball, but also the AAU system. And at least for the elite players that they are going to work with USA Basketball and the Players Union to identify, they're going to try to get involved with their lives when they're teenagers.
Now, any changes would require amendments to the collective bargaining agreement, which is set through the 2023-24 season. However, Silver is looking at possible short-term amendments to address the topic. You can read Brian's entire piece right now on ESPN.com. Now, back to First Take.
Adam Silver always making ish happen here. So the NBA preparing to get involved with high school players, as you just heard. Stephen A., is this the right strategy?
I don't believe so. I don't like it. I'm not saying that it's wrong. I'm saying that there's another direction that you can go in.
Okay.
Targeting elite high school athletes and what have you and doing whatever it is that you're going to do with them. My philosophy is much more simpler, Max. I think you can do one or two things. Actually, a combination of both. I think you get rid of the one and done rule altogether. Get rid of it. Mm-hmm. Okay? You are free to come out of high school and go straight to the NBA. But if you elect to go to college, you got to give us a minimum of 2 years. Period. Because those 2-year period, that 2 year, again, I'm not saying you have to go to college. I'm not saying you have to go to the NBA. You have the choice of going straight out of high school to the NBA. But if you go, you shouldn't be able to leave after just 1 year. The NCAA has a right to build its brand. I can't believe I'm saying that because you know how I feel about the NCAA. But all I'm saying is that when we talk about how advantageous it is for the business of basketball moving forward, those who are elite enough to enter the NBA straight out of high school, you're free to come. Those who require development, you need to stay in college for 2 years. It's just that simple to me. I think it helps the NBA game. I think it helps the collegiate game. And I think ultimately you having that choice and knowing that you have that choice going in positions you to plan accordingly. And I think that'll work.
Adam Silver is a terrific commissioner. He's shown that every step of the way. It's not that he hasn't made any mistakes. Nobody is perfect. But he's an excellent commissioner. His job is not to represent high school players. That's not the league's job. And therein lies the problem. He needs to figure out how to get around the thorny issue of corruption in the NCAA, since for decades the NCAA has worked in tandem, at the very least, with the NFL and the NBA as a sort of a syndicate with each league, providing a free minor league that not only developed players, but it was a star-making machine that handed those leagues well-known commodities. The league didn't have to support a minor league. They didn't have to pay for it. They didn't have to develop the players. They got stars. And that was beneficial to the NFL and the NBA and, at the time, the NCAA. It wasn't always beneficial to the players. And so when Adam Silver talks about going into the high schools, I understand why. Now you need to figure out a way around it and around the one and done, and also get these kids ready for the fast lane, right? In a high-profile existence as rich people and famous people and among men when they're still kids, really. Like, how do you do all that? It's not easy. But one thing I do know is those kids are going to have to be represented by someone who's not the NBA. The NBA is the buyer. The kids are the seller here. And so they need representation. Now, once they are represented, does that now negate their amateur status? Can they now not play college? Like, how is that all going to work? So what we always have to keep, I know it's easy to say, well, the NBAs and the schools, they're giving these kids opportunities. That is in the kids' best interest. Maybe it might be. But you can't say anything's in someone's best interest until they have their own representation. Are they going to have a players' union? Some kind of academic union?
I brought that up the other day.
Yeah, right. Are they going to? The kids need to be represented in that process, not by the league.
What about what he said? Get rid of the one and done, but then they have to play 2 years.
If they elect to go to college.
NFL, they have to do 3 years. What do you think of that?
I am philosophically opposed to making anyone do anything at any time when it doesn't apply to anyone. I have a problem with saying, labor, kids, you have to jump through these hoops. Do the coaches? Do the networks? Does anyone else have to jump through the hoops that the kids have to jump through?
Rhetorical question. Can a high school person come straight out of high school and work for us at ESPN?
Sure.
No, they can't.
Why not?
No, they can't. Where have you seen them?
I came straight out of college.
No, I said high school.
Okay, I don't know. I'm sure there'll be an exception.
I'm sure there'll be an exception. When it happens, let me know. Because the fact of the matter is that in the world, see, we have a problem with rules and we have a problem with laws and we want to be so free and loose with all of it. And I'm not trying to say, I'm sure we can parse a lot of different things, Max, and I'm sure you can make an argument of it. I'm not trying to say that that can't happen. But realistically speaking, there are levels. Certain people can go through those loopholes. Certainly, certain people can't. I am not saying, if I said to you that players should be mandated to go to 2 years of college, that's entirely different than saying you have the right to leave straight out of high school and go straight to the pros. But if you are not ready and you elect to go to college, you know that if I sign here, I got to be here for 2 years. Max, we sign contracts.
Technically, the NBA and the NFL are not monopolies, and the Major League Baseball is, which is why Major League Baseball players get to strike, and the NBA and the NFL get locked out, right? Technically, they're exempt from antitrust rules, but MLB works as monopoly. The fact of the matter is, in practice, NBA and the NFL are monopolies, because if you are the best in the world at what you do, the only place to get compensated is in those leagues. And they monopolize TV dates and et cetera, and arenas and all that stuff. If ESPN was monopoly and there were no other buyers, then I would have a problem with that rule. We don't exist as a monopoly. They do. So when you are a monopoly, and you have an added responsibility to keep in mind always a certain fairness in the structure, in the game. There needs to be some kind of fairness, because it's not like the kids have another option in the United States of America. Not really. And so I think that puts an added burden on the NBA and the NFL to behave justly.
But I think that you're giving, youth a pass. Listen, what I mean by that is this. We sign, we're grown men, we're adults. We got mortgages, we got kids, we got families, the whole bit. We sign a contract. You can't just go and work for somebody else.
Entertainers do it all the time.
But listen, what I'm saying to you, my point is that what the rules are, whatever the rules are in that respective industry, you're not being blindsided by it. You know what you're signing up for. So what I'm saying to you is that if you know as an athlete that if you elect to go to college, you have to stay for 2 years. Or you can choose to go pro straight out of high school.
I got you.
But what does the second year do? It just lets the university know?
Well, it's not just not only that, it also assists in your development. Because think about it. Lots of times we sit here right on this very show and we lament the absence of development, if not in your game, in other areas.
It does. It does do what you claim it does. And it'd be beneficial in that way. It's not for others to tell the kids that. It's for people who represent them to make that. No, here's the difference. Stephen A.
Right?
If one network didn't want Stephen A. Smith, are there multiple other networks that would?
Yes.
I guess so.
Right. And would the money be comparable one way or another?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
But if you are a college athlete, that's not the case. A high school athlete, there's one place to go in this country. That's the NBA.
We gotta go.
I got a lot
more. It feels like the one and done rule is going to go away.
Let's revisit that tomorrow, because I got something to add to that. Go ahead.
All right, TBD. But up next, who is the man who puts fear in the hearts of all NFL quarterbacks? Von Miller joins us next to tell us what went wrong in Denver. There he is, always got the frames last season, and why Kirk Cousins could be the right choice. Stay put. It's Von time.